Okay, so now we should have a feeling what this custom read object is, but still, to really grasp the concept, we're going to look at the full process of deserialization step by step. So, in step 1, we have here a class called myReader, and there's this function which reads a stream from the network, and we're going to read the object. And we're going to assume here that the network gives us a serialized version of class C and nothing malicious or strange. So we get this object C, and we are going to read the object using object input stream.readObject. The readObject function inside object input stream will parse the serialized structure. First, it doesn't know yet what object it is dealing with. We were not able to say, here's an object of type C. But pretty soon it will find out that it is an object of type C because of the class description at the top of this serialized object, which we looked at using serialization dumper. Then it dispatches some work to object stream class. So this is a different class in the JDK. It is a helper class that finds out which variables and function exist in the class by using reflection on the class in its own runtime, not from information in the serialized object. So reflection is a concept where a programming language can look at itself. So what this class is doing, it read in the beginning of the serialized stream that we're dealing with an object of class C, and then it uses reflection to look in its own runtime to what this object C is. So which variables exist actually in this class and which functions exist over there. While it is doing that, it is looking for a function called readObject. Why? Because possibly the developer has implemented this custom readObject implementation, which we have been talking about. So this is the moment, right? We are in step 5 of the deserialization process, and here it is looking at, is there a custom readObject implemented? If so, it tells object input stream about it. So it's handing back flow control to object input stream again. And object input stream will make the call to C readObject. So the readObject implementation of class C, instead of deserializing any values from the stream. So this is before it would deserialize any of the fields. And here you see a code snippet from object input stream where you can see that this readObject method is invoked. The developer implemented readObject has now the opportunity to perform the deserialization manually. This is exactly the code I showed before. Default readObject will deserialize value I, and then K will be initialized to 13, and then the deserialization process is finished. The object is there. Some pitfalls, some important things to be aware of with deserialization. First, transient fields are not serialized. That's actually the definition of it, the meaning of why the transient keyword is there, but it's good to know. Static fields are also not serialized. Static fields in Java represent fields associated with a class rather than an object. Just to recall, an object is an instance of a class. So you can have many objects, but only one class. So it doesn't make sense to serialize static fields. Constructors are not called when deserializing. So you cannot initialize stuff other than using the custom readObject implementation. And also functions are not called. You cannot specify in a serialized object that a function should be called. No, it's only the variables, the fields. Except for the magic methods. The magic methods are the methods that are called during deserialization. And there are more than only the one we have looked at. So we have seen read object, but there is more. There is also read resolve, validate object, and read object no data. So most serializable classes will not implement any of these. If they do, it's only usually read object. But it is important to look out for them, because for an attacker, we need these classes that do extra things during deserialization to get the chain going. These are vital, otherwise we will never be able to create a gadget chain. So, and why is that? Well, the default read object will just initialize variables, but it won't call any methods. So my suggestion is to grab for all of these 4 functions when you are looking for, not for entry points, but for methods which can be used in a gadget chain.